The illusion of independence in American politics. The rise of Donald Trump to the presidency in 2016, framed as a populist revolt against the so-called Washington establishment, was celebrated by many as the reclamation of power by ordinary Americans. However, closer scrutiny reveals that Trump, like his predecessors, operates within the confines of a system dominated by entrenched interests, often referred to as the cabal. This shadowy network, composed of the financial system's overlords, the military-industrial complex, and lobbying behemoths such as the Israel lobby, ensures that no president, regardless of rhetoric, escapes its grasp. The Trump illusion, populist rhetoric, elitist realities. Trump's 2016 campaign promised to drain the swamp and restore power to the American people. However, his choices in governance, such as the appointment of figures like Sebastian Gorka, reveal his true alignment. Gorka, emblematic of Trump's superficial nationalism, served as a smokescreen for policies that often benefited the very elites Trump claimed to oppose. Take, for example, Trump's trade policies, including tariffs on China and other nations. While these were marketed as tough measures to protect American workers, they ultimately served as theatrics. The tariffs failed to achieve their stated goals of reducing trade deficits and revitalizing domestic manufacturing. Instead, they burdened American consumers with higher prices and incentivized targeted nations to strengthen their economic resilience. China, far from being weakened, leveraged the opportunity to deepen its trade relationships with emerging economies, particularly within the BRICS bloc. By contrast, the U.S. has grown increasingly isolated, a declining hegemon struggling to adapt to the multipolar reality. Sanctions and tariffs, strengthening rivals. Trump's sanctions and tariffs mirrored similar strategies employed by previous administrations, proving ineffective at best and counterproductive at worst. In Iran, Venezuela, and Russia, sanctions spurred self-sufficiency and closer economic ties among sanctioned nations. Similarly, Trump's tariffs against China failed to decouple the two economies. Instead, they provided China with the impetus to fortify domestic industries and pursue alternative markets. The rise of BRICS nations as a credible counterbalance to the U.S.-led global financial order owes much to these missteps. The Israel lobby and the cabal's grip. The Israel lobby's influence over American politics is a bipartisan constant, with Trump being no exception. His administration's decision to relocate the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, coupled with unwavering support for Israel's policies, demonstrated a clear capitulation to these powerful interests. Despite his America First rhetoric, Trump's foreign policy was often dictated by the very entities he claimed to resist, such as the financial elites and the military-industrial complex. His dramatic gestures, such as assassinations and confrontational rhetoric toward Iran, were less about genuine strategy and more about pandering to these powerful lobbies. The bipartisan facade, Trump and Biden as pawns. The notion that Democrats and Republicans represent fundamentally different visions for America is increasingly indefensible. Trump's presidency underscored that both parties are beholden to the same power structures. His successor, Joe Biden, has proven no more independent, serving as a figurehead while the true decision-makers remain behind the scenes. Biden's cognitive decline has only amplified this reality, making him a convenient front for policies shaped by unelected elites. Missing the big picture, the failure of analysis. Analysts like Colonel Douglas Macgregor, while insightful on specific military and geopolitical issues, often fail to grasp the overarching theatrics at play. The focus on micro-level developments, such as troop movements or tactical decisions, misses the broader picture, that these actions are dictated by a system prioritizing profit and control over genuine national interests. The assassination attempts against Trump, whether genuine or staged, highlight the intricate web of control. Far from being an independent actor, Trump remains a puppet, unable to act without the approval of the system that put him in power. His ability to sell voters snake oil lies in his charisma and mastery of marketing, but the product remains unchanged. A continuation of policies that benefit the few at the expense of the many. The path forward, collaboration over confrontation. If the U.S. is to avoid further decline, it must abandon the zero-sum mindset underpinning its foreign and economic policies. Rather than confront China and the BRICS nations, America must find ways to collaborate, leveraging shared interests to foster mutual prosperity. The continued pursuit of antagonistic policies risks accelerating the U.S.'s path toward irrelevance and bankruptcy. Conclusion. The Trump presidency, far from being a departure from the status quo, was a testament to the enduring influence of the entrenched elites who shape American policy. From tariffs to sanctions, from foreign alliances to domestic theatrics, Trump's actions serve the same masters as those of his predecessors. The U.S.'s salvation lies not in electing new faces to perpetuate old systems, but in fundamentally rethinking its role in a changing world. Collaboration, not conflict, must become the guiding principle, lest the nation continue its decline into isolation and economic fragility.